Regarding personal account, real account and nominal account and their relevant formulas already I have discussed. In case of personal account, I suggested you to debit the receiver and credit the giver. In case of real account, what comes in is to be debited and what goes out is to be credited. In case of nominal account, debit is to be given all expenses and losses and credits all incomes and gains. Apart from our day-to-day practice, we should definitely try to explore all the things which are indispensable or inevitable in our day-to-day business, that is called discount. It is nominal account, but what discount is? Naturally, when we give payment for any goods and services, we claim for discount, and the real businessmen, those who are intending to extend their business in the years to come, in the times to come, they usually give two types of discount. What are they? One is cash discount and another one is trade discount. What cash discount is? Supposing we are purchasing goods worth rupees 1 lakh and we are in a position to pay 98,000. In most of the cases, our supplier or our seller would like to give certain discounts in case of cash payment, because already I have discussed, credit is the common phenomena of today's business, for which it is usual habit of the businessman to give or to allow cash discount immediately. If we are in a position to pay cash immediately, instead of getting or instead of receiving the 100% money, they would like to have the 99% money or 98% money. In lieu of that, if they are allowing 1%, 2% or 3%, whatever may be, or how the situation would allow to them, they would give certain cash discount. In case of cash payment, in case of cash sales, in case of cash purchases, that is called cash discount. So, directly or indirectly, if a purchaser is availing certain amount of discount in case of cash payment, that is called cash discount, and it is usually given to promote and to insist on the customer to have the transaction on cash, and it has certain place in our financial accounting system. But in case of trade discount, it is usually given to increase the volume of sales. Maybe as you are from management students or management category, you would like to know what trade discount is. It is the usual practice of the businessman to allow certain trade discounts to increase the sales volume. Sometimes you may go with have an indent on your hand to purchase 8 strips of certain medicines or certain antibiotic, maybe for fever or maybe of different viral infections, all these things. So antibiotic in these days is a very common thing. So when you are going to purchase 8 strips of particular medicine or particular antibiotic, the trader or the wholesaler or the C&F agent, stockist, super stockist may incline to give you, if you are purchasing 8 strips of particular antibiotic, you would be given 2 strips of antibiotic free of cost. So automatically the purchase cost of 8 strips, 8 number of strips will be equal to the 10 strips of antibiotic. So that is called trade discounts. To increase the trade volumes or to increase the sales volume, it is usually given. So there is no place in our financial accounting for the trade discount. We shouldn't bother. And of course it is an indispensable feature of our day-to-day business. We may avail and we may also allow to our customer so that we can sell more and more. So cash discount has a place in our accounting system, in our double entry bookkeeping system, and at the same time our financial accounting system. But in case of trade discount, we should take it as a profit, because supposing we are in a position to purchase 10 strips of medicines in lieu of our payment of 8 strips of medicines, automatically we are getting 2 strips of medicine free of cost, and we can dispose of the same to our loyal customers and we can have the profit. And in continuation of my discussion regarding subsidiary books, cash book and journal, today I am to discuss about classification of accounts. What classifications is? You are already enrolled with universities or with certain boards in which certain boys and girl students are there, and classifications are there on the basis of classes. In accounting or in financial accounting system also, we have to do or we have to classify our accounts according to our norms and priorities. We know what are the norms are. As far as my discussion with you is concerned, already I have discussed certain heads of accounts. What are the heads of accounts? In our day-to-day business or in our day-to-day life, we know that our mother is to keep the accounts. Our mother is the backbone of our accounting system, and she knows what is the amount of money to be spent on particular heads. What is the head? It is otherwise called as title of the accounts. Sometimes we may go for purchase, sometimes we may go for sales, sometimes we may go for purchasing of our dress materials, sometimes our offspring or our children may go for purchasing certain books or study materials likewise. And on the basis of our requirement, we may go for purchasing of medicines. And it has certain priorities. When we are going to purchase particular medicines on the basis of prescription of certain doctors, we don't hesitate to give money, and we don't hesitate to spend the money from our packet without asking the value of it. So automatically we spend recklessly, and after completion of the exigencies, I would like to say what are the differences between emergencies, exigencies and natural way of life. In our day-to-day life, we pass time or we just live on as per our practice, as per our generative laws, and sometimes we go for huge purchase, sometimes we go for less purchase according to our requirement. when we go for higher purchase, means bulk purchase, we usually avail discount. From almost all the ethical businessmen, we avail cash discount, sometimes we avail trade discount even. But trade discount has no place in our accounting system. Cash discount has certain places in our accounting system. Now question arises, how to classify them on various heads. When I used to give the examples of purchase, in respect of purchase register, already I have discussed, purchases on credit are to be written or are to be entered in the purchase register. Sales on credit are to be entered in our sales register, from which our purchase return is also to be ascertained, and purchase return book should be entertained or should be maintained accordingly. Likewise, from all the sales we should maintain the sales return. Likewise, as far as my experience is concerned, as far as my practical experience with some good manufacturers, those who are doing their business in manifold way, they like to have good accounting system. Of course, I can dare to name the name of Dr. Ashok Tripathi in Mayurbhanj. In and around of Mayurbhanj, there is a good businessman who sells magnesite, macrom bricks and many other things, and who was awarded of as a scientist in the year 1974, who tries or who ventures to use advanced accounting system. In Odisha, there would be some people only, those who try to confine their business, and they try to confine their activities with certain limitations. Still, it is also known that those who are good businessmen, they try to venture good accounting system, good financial accounting system. So, naturally, they try to make their financial accounting system as a standard, as an international standard, as a national standard even. Yesterday or last night I discussed the types of transactions which can be placed in our subsidiary books, like journal, like purchase register, sales register, purchase return, sales return, carriage inward, carriage outward. And at the same time, we know that so many negotiable instrument acts are there, and negotiable instrument act have been enacted in our country in the year 1956, on the basis of which we pass necessary negotiable or we use necessary negotiable instrument, out of which bills receivable and bills payable are also coming under that category. When we are purchasing, that means we have to pay to our certain creditors, and in that case we are debtor, and from whom we have taken or we have purchased the goods on credit are the creditors. In that case, we may also enter an account in our bills payable book. What is payable? P-A-Y is pay, out of which we can derive a word payable, what we are to pay in future. That is also coming under the category of liability. Likewise, from our customer, what we have sold to our customer on credit, we have to receive in future. So that is to be categorized as bills receivable. So another two set of books can be handled to reduce the volume of journal are called bills receivable and bills payable. So from the beginning of our business, already I have discussed accountancy or financial accounting is nothing but the language of business. Likewise, we have to keep the accounts in a very meticulous way, and we know that accountancy or financial accounting is the backbone of business. Without accountancy, the business can stand. And at the same time, it should be our intention to reduce the volume of accountancy. If we are to go for vivid or keep the accounts in a subjective manner, definitely the volume of accountancy will be more, and it will be of Herculean task on the part of the business or on the part of the businessman to keep the accounts at par and to make the same usable for various users. So we have to reduce the volume of the accounts, and apart from journalizing all the transactions in our journal book, we have to transfer the information from statement of accounts to various subsidiary books. And what are they? Apart from journal, we have to maintain another book for cash transaction, that is called cash book, and purchase register, all the credit purchases, sales register, all the credit sales, purchase return, the return which have been allowed by the business to give back to our supplier, that is to be entered in our purchase return. Likewise, the sales return which have been approved by our business entities, those who are taking various decisions, which are to be allowed for the purchaser or for the customers from those who have purchased from us, that is to be entered in our sales register. Likewise, almost all the expenditures which are to be entered in our carriage inward, means sometimes for our customers we may incur certain expenditure to make the transition of our product or goods from our godown to customer's place, that is called carriage outward. And sometimes we may spend certain amount of money for bringing the materials from the supplier's place to our own, that is called carriage inward. And ultimately today I discussed on bills receivable and bills payable. Initially, of course, I have discussed accounting is a very good instrument through which we can able to equip ourselves in such a way so that it can help us in every 6s and 7s, so that we can make our decision in a very prudent way. So bills receivable and bills payable are certain subsidiary books which are not mandatory for all of us, but in these days when IT or information technology came into being, we like to prefer or we like to have the accounts in the way in which we can use the same at our optimum way. So likewise, apart from these 8 special books, apart from cash book and your purchase register, sales register, purchase return, sales return, carriage inward, carriage outward, your bills receivable, bills payable, we should try to keep our accounts in a very meticulous way, and we try to classify them subsequently on different heads. What are the heads of accounts to be reckoned for the sake of the business. We know that purchase is a common phenomena for almost, or common feature for almost all the businessmen, likewise sales. And at the same time, when our business activity starts, so many type of expenditures come on our way. That may be our stationery, that may be for postage, that may be for transfer of amount from one place to another, that may be for transportation. All these things are coming under heads of accounts. When we are to spend on our particular amount on a in a specific way, and if we are in a position to attribute one particular heads of accounts, one particular way of transaction, that is defined as title of accounts. It may be sales, it may be purchase, it may be stationery, it may be postage, it may be advertising, it may be transports, it may be insurance, it may be packaging materials. So many things are there which can be directly classified on a particular segment, or we can attribute the expenditure or income on a particular segment. On the basis of our activities, we can say the particular account is heads of account. Suppose we are spending certain amount of money, giving money for advertisement. You know that advertisement is a very good thing. I would like to definitely give an example what advertisement is. As a stream of commerce and business, as a stream of human being, you definitely know what advertisement, you should definitely know what advertisement is. Nowadays, almost all of us are adopting advertisements because we are selling ourselves. A president of a self-financing institute is selling himself. A managing director of a big company is selling himself. A marketing representative of a common medicines company is also selling himself. A school teacher is also selling himself or herself. And at the same time, a professor of reputed university is also selling himself. So ultimately we can have an inference that almost all of us are selling ourselves. And how we can sell ourselves in an effective way? With the help of advertisement. We know that requirements and the supply are complementary to each other. During your childhood, you would have observed in your personal life, according to a requirement, our parents used to supply the same. But sometimes on the way from our school to our home, we would have seen many things on the way, for which after arriving at our home, we placed our indent before our parents. For example, we may say during our childhood, during our studentship in the 80s, we didn't know how the calculators are used. On the way to our home, we could able to know what calculator is, and we could able to know its multi-dimensional uses. And after arrival or after arriving at our home, we placed our indent before our parents, before our senior brothers and sisters. We should have definitely one calculator. During that period, I have definitely kept the thing in memory. My father said that it is not necessary, it is not essential. They have created an artificial requirement. To be very frank, I do not know whether it is a fortunate one or unfortunate one. We have been blessed with certain categories where wisdom is highly placed. So naturally, when I asked my father, it is not natural, it is not required. My father, during that period, my father used to say, it is not required, you can do it. If you know your table up to 25, means in our Odia term, we used to say that Podika. If you know from 2 scale to 25, it is not at all required. It is an artificial requirement. During that period, I have remembered in our Kocheri Road at Baripada, so many people, so many students even from MKC High School used to do that practice to sell various items. So I uttered or I disclosed almost all the characteristics of calculator, and at last I was sanguine, I was convinced by my parents as well as my senior brothers and sisters that is not useful. If you are capable enough to calculate yourself, it is not at all required. So again next day morning, I came to my school and I disclosed the same matter with my friends. I shared the things with my friends. So naturally, the friends, those who are well-to-do financially, they have already purchased the same, and they showed me the same thing before me, that you are telling this same thing, it is not prudent to purchase all these things, it is unnecessary, it is not essential. But they tried their level best to prove that they are wise, for which they purchase the things. But to be very honest and judicious, I tried my level best to calculate my own things, to calculate multiplication, division, sometimes addition, sometimes subtraction, and I explored almost all the mathematical ways without keeping the help of calculator, and ultimately within 7 or 15 days I could able to sanguine myself exactly. Requirement is our own mental intensity. If we intend to purchase the same, it will be a requirement, otherwise we can also live without that. So when the need of classification starts, how to start? According to the nature of expenditure. When business asks for certain expenditure, we have to definitely incur, and at the same time, when business is to enjoy its benefits, its profit, its images, it may also enjoy the profit from outside. So naturally, the next step of classification of accounts or transferring the information from various subsidiary books, cash book and journal, the next step is to maintain the same accounts in our ledger. What are they? We may go for an account of purchase account, we may go for sales account, we may go for RAM account, we may go for bank account, we may go for cash account. According to the titles which have been given in our journal book, we have to classify the same in our ledger. Generally, as far as my practical experience and theoretical experience is concerned, we may go for maintaining two types of ledgers. One is general ledger and another one is personal ledger. Because we keep the accounts for various transactions with various people. How? Suppose we are purchasing on credit, definitely that organization, that institution would be taken or would be reckoned as a personal representative account. So that can be categorized as personal account. Suppose I am to avail certain discounts from my supplier, that is to be reckoned in our personal ledger. And in general register we can place almost all the transactions which have relations with our real account, means which are tangible by nature. Which are tangible by nature, that can be placed in our real ledger, and which are personal by nature, it can also be reckoned in our personal ledger. And in case of nominal account, in case of profits, incomes, gains, we can place the same in our personal ledger, because it is related to certain people. And at the same time we can place all the losses, it may be of normal loss, it may be of abnormal loss, we can place the same in our personal ledger. Yes, what are the losses? Normal losses and abnormal losses. As business people, you would have heard about normal losses, which can be adjusted from our sale proceeds or from our available stock. Suppose we are purchasing 1 quintal of potatoes, and on the way 5 kgs of potatoes have been lost on transit. That means the purchasing cost of the 95 kilograms of potatoes are to be placed as if we have purchased 100 kilograms of potatoes. So we have to make it equated, make it to be equated with 95 kilograms of potatoes are at par with 100 kilograms of potatoes. That is called normal loss, and that can be adjusted with our practice. In case of abnormal loss, maybe it is of fire, it may be of theft, it may be of any natural calamities, then it is called abnormal loss. And sometimes it is, if it is assured one, or if all the products and services are of insured nature, means we have taken the help of insurance people, that can be adjusted to certain portion, maybe of 75% or 60%. Likewise, remaining part of the loss are to be taken as abnormal loss. So when the part and parcel of the loss are to be beared with us, are to be with our business acumen, it is normal, and if it is beyond that, it is called abnormal. So now we are to classify the accounts, which we have shifted the information from various subsidiary books and journals. Now we are to classify on our heads of accounts. What are they? It may be of purchase, it may be of sales, it may be of bank, it may be of cash, it may be of any names as per our suitability. But it has to be kept in our mind that the volume of accounts should be reduced or should be handled the way in which we can handle the same without giving much cost. So we should know what are the heads of accounts. If we discuss various activities of our household, we can say our general expenditure on which our mothers or our parents incur, that is called your food, stationery, dress materials, electricity charges, insurance amount, medical expenditure, postal expenditure, your transport expenditure. These are the heads of accounts on which our household amount goes up. Accordingly, our mother or our financial backbone of our family keep the accounts and try their level best to have a clutch or control over the expenditure and to minimize the same and to strengthen the finance of our family. Likewise, in our business entities also, the financial manager or the accounts manager accounts, nowadays the nomenclature of all these activities have been defined in a various ways, and in the 90s we tried our level best to be there in the global picture, and our businessmen or our business categories explored the entire world as a business field. So the definitions and the activities of the accounting, financial accounting particularly, have been ventured in a very extensive way. So naturally, our heads of accounts have also been increased leaps and bounds. And how to classify our accounts, how to transfer the information, how to shift the information from various set of books, means subsidiary books and journal, I will be discussing tomorrow. So please log on to my YouTube account. Definitely would like to know how the shifting of information or posting, that is the activities of transferring the information from various ledgers and subsidiary books to our books, to our classified books, to various ledgers, is called posting. That is to be narrated tomorrow. So please listen to me and log on to me, mitu_dy@yahoo.com.